From the Augusta National Golf Club in Augusta, Georgia, welcome to The Masters.
Hello friends, and welcome to a tradition unlike any other, The Masters, presented by CBS. This is a very different and unique Masters since it's the first ever fall edition at Augusta National Golf Club. As our friend Sir Nick Faldo would say to Patrick Reed, welcome to the new age, to the new age. You know who else might be feeling radioactive is meathead Bryson DeChambeau, who will attempt to bring Augusta National to its knees by overpowering the golf course. But I have a feeling that Augusta National will be bringing Bryson DeChambeau to his knees at the end of the week. As the leaves change from summer to fall down Magnolia Lane, the roars of Augusta will be brought to a whisper, since patrons will not be allowed on the grounds. But there are two silver linings. First, the tournament is being played. And second, Eldrick Tiger Woods is still your defending Masters champion. The GOAT of golf, aka Tiger, will be fending off a multitude of fierce competitors this week. Will Brooks Koepka be able to stay healthy enough? Or is he cursed like a white middle linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys? I'm not sure what was longer, Jon Rahm's backswing or his stint at world number one, but he will be a competitor this week. Will Rory McIlroy wear a hoodie? And there's Jordan Spieth, who seems more desperate to find a fairway than a drunk middle-aged man trying to find a hooker in Vegas. And I hope that Scotty Scheffler can avoid the pine straw this week, since he's more likely to break an ankle with that action than KJ is jumping out of a tree. Though it will be a different tournament this fall, we will once again get a glimpse of heaven on earth that is Augusta National. For all my colleagues here at 3 Under Par, we hope you enjoy the coverage and welcome to the 84th fall edition of The Masters. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 3 Under Par podcast. This is a golf podcast where
Little White Ball is live.
I'm your host, Scotty T. I'm joined by my co-host, KJ over there, T-Bone down below, and then we have a special guest sitting right next to me, Mr. Daniel Garza. Daniel, how's it going?
Hey, doing all right.
Fellas, it's here. It's here. The freaking Masters is here. It's been a long time coming. Long time. The last time was played was April of 2019, where Eldrick Tiger Woods wore the green jacket once again for the 5th time. Fellas, it's here. It was awesome. How are y'all doing?
Man, it has been a long wait, and all I can say, the only thing that has remotely made it bearable is that we've been waiting on a past champion, Tiger Woods being the reigning champion. Lord forbid a wait like that ever happened with a Danny Willett or a Patrick Reed. It would have been absolutely miserable.
T-Bone is just agreeing with you. With your nice little Magnolia Lane background, T-Bone, show that off here. Speak so we can see.
Take a stroll, baby.
Looks great.
Yeah, we're ready.
Looks great. Also rocking that Houston Open. Is that a new hat that you got this weekend?
It is. I got a fresh lid. I'll have to just touch on the Houston Open more, but great time.
Awesome. Well, Zoom limits us in our number of time here, so we're just going to dive right into it. If you're listening here, if you're new here, we're a golf podcast where we say Little White Ball is life because we believe it, we live it, especially KJ since he plays like 5 times a week still with a full-time job. Props. And Garza is joining us for this episode because he runs our pickem that we do every single year. Garza, you've been running this thing since like 2011, 2012, something like that?
2012. We started it sometime in the middle of college to make things a little more interesting since there wasn't a fun way to bet on the process. So
sure thing. So we're going to talk all about the Masters, go through the groups, go through the pickems, who we like. It's an electric week. Garza, thanks for joining us for this episode.
Thanks for having me on.
Man, there's just so much to talk about. We're going to dive into it because also this week was the hometown tournament. Houston Open. T-Bone was out there. T-Bone. Well, first off, who won? Carlos?
Ortiz.
If you were told
in typical Houston Open fashion. The no name that you don't know who they even are until Sunday afternoon.
Lonto Griffin won last year. This year was Carlos Ortiz. Nobody was with that stacked field. So we were talking about how great the field was. T-Bone, but you were there on site. One of the 2,000 fans there on Saturday. Give us the rundown. How was it?
So I got tickets about 11 a.m. on Saturday. And I also found out that the leaders teed off at around 11 on Saturday. So I didn't watch a ton of golf. I walked into the tournament, saw a few groups come in on 18, and then I just hit up the VIP tent, to be honest with you.
Flex on the VIP tent too. Nice.
Yeah. Did I have a VIP ticket? No, but I think that's a perk of a new tournament. Security's not very strong. To give you an idea of how limited the security was, Jim Crane was just sitting at a table, just chilling by himself. Sylvester Turner was walking through, and then lastly, the lovely Julia Morales, who me and my brother got a picture with. So
that's up on.
What?
It's up on the gram. Follow us at
Up on the gram. Yep, go give us a follow. But so honestly, all I watched was a few groups come in on 18 green, but overall, it was a blast having fans back at the tournament. I don't know. I think it was pretty mixed reviews from the golfers, but I think it's got a lot of potential. I heard a lot of the golfers talking about that they were happy to have fans back. So I think it was a success and pretty cool. I got to be there. We were talking about it though. Like, it's just such a bummer that, people ask you about the first tournament, back at Memorial Park, and you're like, yeah, I was there. And then they're like, oh, tell me about the tournaments. Oh, Carlos Ortiz won. It's like, you just don't really have a story. And I didn't watch much golf. So overall, great time though. Happy it's back. I think it was a good first tournament back.
Who was the biggest name that you actually saw take a swing?
So I saw Brooks come through. I will say I saw Victor Hovland. He was the first golfer I saw, and he pulled off one of the most just out of his ass unbelievable shots I've ever seen. It was just so unexpected. It's been all over PGA Tour's Instagram account today, but he had about 4 feet of rough, 8 feet of fringe, and then 2 feet of green to work with. He's going back and forth with, a 60, and he's got a wedge out to bump and run. And then he just pulls out the putter, just absolutely drains it. 15 feet off the green from the rough with the putter. And I was just like, okay, that was cool.
That was in Texas. Go pull the Texas wedge, baby.
Yeah, so he pulled the Texas wedge. Also saw DJ come through. This was pretty damn funny. Might have gotten the audio on the Instagram account, but JT hits his he's got probably a 30-footer for birdie, and it's starting to track, and it gets about maybe 5 feet out, and the guy next to me goes, "Do it for Paulina!" And no one laughed or did anything, and I was just losing my shit. It was hilarious.
I'm telling you, Paulina's husband. It's all
yeah.
That just proved this the Paulina show.
I know.
That last week.
It was good timing for that, but and it was still the amount of fans was perfect because you could still hear stuff like that. The golfers could hear it, so it was a good time.
I mean, outside of Carlos Ortiz, Dustin Johnson, Matsuyama, Koepka, Jason Day, Tyrrell Hatton, and Sam Burns, they all finished top 10. Those are it's a pretty stacked field. So shout out to Carlos Ortiz. I mean, I know at least the old design too. Back nine played so much harder, and Carlos Ortiz stepped up, birdie 2 out of the last 3 on 18 or of the last 3 holes to win. Big props to him. First PGA Tour win. Yes, it would have been nicer to have a bigger name, but to your point, T-Bone, I think it held up. The course held up. Because it's $38 to play, dude, and it's in the middle of town. It's so sick. Garza literally lives across the street from Memorial Park. And it's the best deal, in my opinion, on the PGA Tour in general. So, yes.
And again, it's just fitting. I mean, we were watching the tournament on Sunday. Just within the last 5 years, you got Carlos Ortiz now. You got Lanto Griffin, a guy named Matt Jones. Who the hell is that? I don't know. You got Jim Herman.
Jim
The
Herman.
list goes on and on of no names who have won this tournament. So it made sense.
But
It made sense.
in his defense, he is a Texas guy. I thought I heard them say he went to UNT and he
Yep.
lived in the Dallas area. So, I mean, he is a Texas guy. That helps a little bit.
The fact that we still don't know him and he's a Texas guy makes it almost worse, you know?
I'd have to agree with that, yeah.
Which is
So-
funny because he's from Mexico, and so he's talking to his caddy in Spanish. And even the broadcasters were like, well, don't know what he's saying there, but he really hit some good shots.
Do you see that shot he hit on 16? He had like 225.
Nailed.
They showed the bottom of his club. He hit 6-iron. First off, that's deep. And it had to have looked like it was going in from the fairway. It was right on line. Hits it for 8 feet. Just barely misses the eagle putt. That was a big-time shot because there's water all around that green, and he didn't finesse it. He gave it everything.
And that shot was the tournament. If you look at his shot and then DJ basically being in the exact same spot, Ortiz's shots, like you said, was tracking, and DJ was like one of the most nervous swings I've ever seen. Bailed out right, made par. So that was a huge hole.
Yep. So we could probably talk a little bit more about the Houston Open in the next couple of weeks once we have really kind of time to digest it, and then maybe even play the course ourselves. Because again, $38 right up the road, and it's public. We'll have to go tee it up there. So let's move on. The Masters. This is why we're here. This is why the people listening are here. Remember, I'm putting timestamps in the description below so that you can follow us there. Fellas, I don't even know what else to say. We've already said it. It's been a long time coming. Augusta National, they've been pumping out those promo videos. I get excited. In a nice way, I get excited about the Masters. Garza, what you think, man? Expectations for this week?
I'm very excited. I think the expectations are huge. There's a couple big storylines of, are the Bombers going to take over the course? Is one of the older, experienced guys going to make a run, like a Phil or honestly like a ZJ maybe? I'm excited. There's anything can happen on a Masters weekend, and it's good to finally be back, even if it is in November.
With no patrons, but that's okay. The Houston Open had fans before the Masters did. That's weird.
I'll say I'm happy to be wrong. Last time I was on 3 under par, we were at your old house, my current house.
Yep.
And I made a prediction that we wouldn't have the Masters in 2020, and couldn't be happier to be wrong about this one.
For sure. KJ, how about you, man? What are your expectations for this week?
I'm pumped. I'm very pumped. Very rarely do you see a Monday beer, but it's Masters Monday, so we're rocking the Monday beers. It's going to be a very not a very efficient work week for me. I can just go ahead and tell you that right now. Just even watching practice rounds and stuff like that, if I can get them, that's happening. I really want to see what he said about the Bombers, if they're going to take over. I want to see if, as of a precise golf course as this is, where you need to hit your shots into the greens, if somebody can just say, screw it, I'm hitting bombs, and then work it out from there. That's what I want to see, because I never ever thought Augusta is a course that you can just bomb it and just bomb and gouge. You gotta play your way around that course, just plot your way around and hit the right sections of the green. So I'm kind of curious about that, but I'm definitely excited to see some of the guys out there this week. Tiger defend, kind of the biggest storyline ever. So we'll see it.
T-Bone.
So, again, like everyone, absolutely pumped. I never thought this day was going to come. But, I hate to say it, but not fans, no patrons at Augusta on a Sunday afternoon. That's going to be tough. If you have the leader, just sticking one back on 16, it goes to 2 feet, and you've got no one clapping, that's going to be a tough scene. I still think it's the Masters, and, it's the nerves are going to be there for the players. But that's going to be tough.
They say the roars of Augusta, because you're not allowed to have cell phones out there if you're the fans. The roars, you can literally get a sense of idea, especially once you're down in that 15, 16 area, because it kind of goes down in the valley. Like, it just echoes throughout the grounds. If you're a player there, you have no idea, because if you're in the group behind, you're like, oh, someone made a big shot. That means I got to step up here. I think that's one thing nobody's really talking about, is that the leaders, because it takes them a while to manually update the scores. So they're going to have a harder time, I think, gauging how they're doing against the field, especially come Sunday when somebody's going to make a run. Like, that's just the way Augusta's set up. It's like almost a little bit of manufactured drama. I've heard people say that before, but I mean, because once you hit 13, 14, 15, they're all in 16, they're all very gettable birdie holes. So that's just one thing I think to keep your eye out for this week. But I don't know how different the course is going to play. Like, are they still going to force the azaleas to bloom? Like, they're almost like the scientists in Jurassic Park out there. They're like creating something that they probably shouldn't, but I don't know how the course is going to look coming this week. Have y'all heard anything about that?
I watched live from the Masters a little bit today. They got me flowing there. I was a little tired from work, and then I watched live from the Masters, and I was just like, all right, I'm wide awake. But it was a Matthew Wolff interview, and he was talking about how the fairways are actually firmer and faster. So, the Bombers are going to have an advantage, everything running out. But he also said they were expecting some rain at least one day. So, again, I think rain is going to help the guys who bomb it more than it being firm and fast. Because, a guy like Francesco Molinari, who doesn't bomb the ball but he hits it straight, he's going to have less into his greens. That's more of an advantage for him. Him not hitting 5-iron, him hitting 8-iron. I'd take him over just about anybody hitting 8-iron into a green. But they also said it was going to rain. That's when I think the Bombers are going to kind of distance themselves, when it's more, I'm carrying the ball 280 and you're carrying it 270 or 265. So I don't know. The greens are firm and fast. We'll just see how it goes.
What's the biggest headline going into this person for each week? So let's go through biggest headline or biggest thing that you're looking out for each person, and then let's go through the groups for that. T-Bone, what's your biggest headline you think coming into this week? I mean, let's say the overarching one, Tiger defending the Masters. Will he defend? Okay, cool. We got that out of the way. So other than Tiger, because he's just the GOAT and everybody loves him. And he's good for golf, I promise.
Yeah. Unfortunately, and this has been a headline for this podcast for at least every other time we have a podcast, but it's Bryson. We've seen all of the things he's saying about, what he's going to be hitting. So like on 13, the dogleg left, par 5, iconic hole. And he says he's hitting it into the 14th fairway. I think that's such a big headline because everyone has played that hole the same way since its existence. And that's just, no one's ever said that or done that. And he's been doing this since he's been on tour. And the fact that he's finally, won a major now, and it's starting to get kind of scary how good he's getting. I think if he's able to pull all this wacky shit that he does and win the Masters, it's going to be like, oh shit, he might have really figured something out. So that's got to be the biggest headline for me.
I mean, to your point real quick, apparently Bryson played with Sandy Lyle in a practice round this last week, and I'm going to give a few yardages of what he had in. On number 1, he had sandwich. That's 445 yards. On number 3, it's 350-yard par 4. He flew the green with the 3-wood. On number 2, he had an 8-iron in. On number 8, which is an uphill par 5, he had 7-iron into that green. On number 9, he had sand wedge. On 10, 495 yards, he had pitching wedge. On number 11, amen corner, 9-iron. That's such an advantage. If you're hitting a 9-iron into that green versus, to your point, like a Molinari KJ, you're probably just going to hit like a 5-iron or 4-iron. That's outrageous.
Yeah.
And then even 15, the par 5, he had 9-iron into that green. There are a few, and on third, yeah, it's just, and on 18, and on 17, Sam Wedge, it's just, he might overpower the golf course. Augusta tried to Tiger-proof their course after 97, and they're going to have to Bryson-proof the course now.
It's the evolution.
Yeah.
I really don't want to turn this into a Bryson episode, but with all those stats, how the fuck do you keep hitting the fairway?
I agree.
Are you not going to miss a fairway when you hit it that far? That's what I've been asking this whole time he's been on this distance game. I'm like, if you hit it far, you don't hit it straight. That is how golf works since the history of time. And he doesn't miss fairways. I don't know.
Yeah, the biggest headline for me, T-Bone nailed it, is I just want to see Bryson absolutely hit one like 150 yards offline one time. Just to see.
Gotta happen.
Like it's got to happen, you know?
Yes.
It's got to happen. I want to see him go out there and he's thinking about, over here, I got a shorter way in, but then he realizes this is the exact opposite side I need to be coming in from, and that play a factor. I want the greens to, put up a thorn in his side when he tries to hit it 400 yards in the opposite direction. I mean, what is that going to do to that hole? What is that going to do to 14? If somebody's coming down 14, what's going to happen? Are they in that hole and Bryson's waiting on somebody a hole behind him?
Brooks is not going to be happy.
No, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. And it hadn't even happened yet.
To your point, KJ, if it does rain and if it does get wet out there, I'm interested to see, because the one question mark in Bryce's game is his wedge play, if he can really control the spin out there, because the shells that you got hit it on is almost like a 3x3 square foot space sometimes. And yes, it's harder when the greens are firmer, but if you're constantly hitting wedges in with how soft the greens are, they're going to spin like crazy. So that's just something to keep an eye out for if it does get wet out there.
Hopefully we get a lot of fat dumps.
The one last Bryson remark I'm going to make, because I want to move on, but there's another stat going around that it's something along the lines of golfers who've had X number of starts. I want to say it's like, or maybe played like 8 rounds at Augusta. He has like the worst putting stats. A lot of people are saying that's because you're not allowed to have your, like slopes and all that. You're like, they don't have what, I don't even know what it's called, because I would never use one. Yeah, I'm sure he has one. But they don't have like the detailed slope readings on the greens. And that's something he's a scientist. He relies on that stuff. So I think a combination of that, and then that's a good point too with the, hitting wedges into soft greens. I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen.
So a couple things. As far as the rain goes, it's absolutely going to rain from what I can tell. The Hurricane Eta, I believe is it, passed over the Florida Keys last night, and it's headed straight for Augusta, Atlanta, that area. And I'd be interested to see if somebody can go low early before the wind picks up and before the rain picks up. But away from Bryson, I'd be really interested to see if the young guys can continue their streak. If Colin Morikawa can get a high score, a Scotty Scheffler, Cameron Champ, Matthew Wolff, if those guys who we know are as good as anybody out there on any given day, if they can, with less experience, still put a good showing up on the leaderboard, I'd be interested to see that.
I like it. You know what's a very under the radar storyline, because it's every year since, frankly, 2011, is Rory McIlroy. Will Rory get a green jacket? And if he gets it in the fall, is there an asterisk next to it? Like,
No.
I don't know.
No, it's still the Masters.
I know, I'm just kidding. Just like how the Astros still have a World Series win. No asterisk. So suck, everybody. That Astros still got the World Series win. That's what I say. Screw the haters. Go Stros. Anyway, that would be one. So because it's so under the radar, since Bryson's making headlines, Brooks, DJ, everybody out there, that Rory's so under the radar that he might be poised to win it this year. Hey, he's not necessarily in form, but he's under the radar enough to where I think he'll be okay. So that's just one of my big things I think going into this week. So let's talk about the groups. So we do this Masters Pick'em every year. Garza mentioned he does it. Yeah, he's been running it since 2012. So we've had some controversies in the past, a la DJ slipping down the stairs that really threw a monkey wrench into the groups and everything. But so essentially for those listening out there, and if you know us, email us if you'd like to get in on it. Groups close Wednesday, but it's got to be Garza approved. I don't want to speak for him on that. But
Wednesday by 6.
Correct. So that's why email us in the description below. We'll get you in contact. 4 groups. There are 4 groups, all based off world ranking. For this group, though, we did switch it up because Tyrrell Hatton is the top 10 player in the world. But we switched him in the group 2 and Brooks Koepka in the group 1 because nobody was going to pick Tyrrell Hatton in group 1. So we just had to mix it up. Executive decision. If you have a problem with that, email Garza.
Just don't play. But
Just
designed to make you pick different golfers of different skill levels. And Tyrrell Hatton, obviously a very talented player, but wasn't going to get any action in Group 1. And quite frankly, I'd be surprised if he got a lot of action in Group 2. Brooks Koepka, one of the biggest names in golf, and somebody who's played Augusta well in the past, deserved to be in Group 1 this year.
Definitely. So then we have Group 2, which is based off, and then Group 3, you pick 2 people. And then Group 4, you pick 1 person. And so you take the lowest combined score, your top 4 guys. So in case you have somebody miss the cut, you're okay. Last year, I'll start off, I picked Justin Rose. Justin Rose is currently in Group 2. I think that is a great value pick. But I will never pick Justin Rose again based off principle because last year I picked him in Group 1.
He got you a little bit, didn't he?
The only time he's missed the cut at Augusta ever. So I am bitter. I am biased. I refuse to pick Justin Rose. I don't know. If you want to talk more about the groups, you go straight to picks. But
well, I'll just say this: there's 2 ways to think about picks. There's value picks and there's hedge picks. A value pick would be somebody who you think is kind of under the radar, like to your point, Scott, like a Rory McIlroy, who's somebody who won't get a lot of picks, but somebody who's still equally capable to go out and shoot low score on any given day. And a hedge pick would be like, for example, Jordan Spieth and Bubba Watson are going to be hedge picks this year. Bubba's in Group 3, Jordan's in Group 4, respectively. And I think a lot of people are going to see those big names there and say, hey, I want Jordan Spieth because everyone else is going to take Jordan Spieth. And on the off chance, I know he's been canceled on this podcast before, on the off chance Spieth goes out and shoots 4 under on Thursday, you don't want to be in a position where everyone else has him and you don't.
you want to be – I feel like you almost want to pick with everybody, like say your hedge picks. You want your safe guys. But in order to win, based off being in this group every few years and getting close to winning, you need somebody to nobody else picks to play really well. So that's kind of your gamble pick, if you will. People choose that in Group 2, Group 1, or it's really, in my opinion, your Group 3 guys who can just shoot up from out of nowhere. Yeah. So,
having never won the pool since I've started it, I tend to try to find value in Groups 1 and 2 and hedge in Group 3 and 4, but that's probably not a winning strategy for past experience.
The fact that you haven't won your pool yet is really funny. I think in the first 4 years, Garza missed the cut every single time.
Every single year.
Love it.
Which is great. I think Garza will never let me forget or let it down that I advised him to pick Billy Horschel one year, right before he won the FedEx Cup. So he was kind of trending, and he was looking really good. And then that guy, I don't know what happened on that back nine, but I think he missed the cut.
He shot like an 8 over.
He shot like 8 over on the back nine on Saturday and missed the cut. And he was like, what the heck, man?
Less than amused, but let's roll into picks. Group 1, top 10 players in the world. Can't go wrong with any pick. Obviously, Bryson will be a popular pick, as well as probably Justin Thomas, Dustin Johnson. And, fellas, which way are we leaning this year?
Let's start off with KJ.
Are we gonna go through each one of them or just Group 1?
Let's go through all of them.
Okay.
Yeah. Give us 5 guys and say which group they're coming from.
I think we go group at a time. I need a little time to think.
Okay, we'll go group at a time.
Group 1, around the horn.
KJ,
all right, well, I've already sent my picks in, but in Group 1, I got DJ. Kid's hot. It does kind of favor a bomber this year a little bit, I think. So I'm going with DJ in Group 1.
I'll follow up and say I also took Dustin Johnson. I think there's going to be a surprising amount of value on him in that a lot of people don't take him. Bryson monopolizes all the headlines. I think people might want to be a little contrarian with Xander Schauffele. And so I went with DJ as well. I was a little upset that KJ took him, but it validated that I'm on the right path.
Well, now I'm a little upset that you took him because apparently you just told me you're 0 for lifetime in your own Masters pick. So is it too late to pick somebody else?
You say a lot of people are going to pick him, and half the people in this podcast have already picked him. So
that's true.
Yep. We got 10 minutes left, guys, just a heads up. So, T-Bone, who you got in Group 1?
I wasn't going to let the other picks change my plan of attack. Going DJ.
Wow.
So you just lied to yourself. You did let it change it.
No,
Okay.
that's who I had going in. I'm sticking to it.
All right.
I'm going to go with Brooks Koepka. And the reason why is because when he won the PGA at Bethpage, he finished top 5, if I'm not mistaken, at the Byron Nelson the week before. And he finished top 5 again in Houston this week. So that's why I like Brooks Koepka for Group 1.
Love it.
T-Bone, who you got in Group 2? Let's mix it up. A little.
So I I think I'm going to try and pull some Scotty T redemption here.
My
I'm
man.
going with Mr. Justin Rose.
Yikes. Good luck, man. Maybe
I pulled up the career stats, and he's just played too well there not to pick him. There's no one else I'm really in love with. A lot of those guys in Group 2 are somewhat new. I mean, you've got Patrick Reed, who no one wants. You've got Adam Scott, COVID boy. So with that, I'm going to have to go with Justin Rose.
Okay. I think a popular pick is going to be Matthew Wolf, too. Record Group 2.
So I actually took Matthew Wolf, as
There
you
you
know. Hasn't had a ton of experience there, but has the stuff to get it out there. And so hoping a lot of people don't go towards Matthew Wolf because he doesn't have that experience and lean towards comfortable picks like Patrick Reed, Tommy Fleetwood, Justin Rose. So we'll see. Maybe Matsuyama might get some picks there since he played so well this past week.
Yep.
Sticking with the Wolf pack.
Also, on a side note, Jason Kokrak is in Group 2. He's ahead of like Scheffler, Stenson, Kisner, all these guys. So shout out for Kokrak for getting in Group 2. I don't know how that happened, but
Hey, he bombs it.
big shouts.
I can comment that Kokrak got in because Victor Hovland and Daniel Berger are not playing this year, or I guess weren't invited this year. So that's how he kind of moved up into Group 2.
KJ, who you got for Group 2?
I have Hideki Matsuyama. Just like Garza said,
There you go.
he's hot and he's played well there before. And I really do think the best pick in that group is Patrick Reed. But as I said before we started recording, if I would absolutely ruin my Masters week if I had to pull for Patrick Reed or Bryson DeChambeau. While I think they're both great picks, I'm not going to do that to myself.
If you pick Bryson DeChambeau in Group 1 and then Patrick Reed in Group 2, then you're just a dick.
It's kind of
Like,
smart.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I don't care if they blow out those groups. I'm not going to do it. I'd rather see Masters not rooting for them than actually rooting for them and running my Masters week.
Agreed. Well said.
Man. You know, I'm looking at Group 2 here because I don't really have time to look much of the groups. Yeah, to your point, there's not anybody that I absolutely love in this Group 2. And I picked Paul Casey and Matthew Fitzpatrick in the past.
That was another great one that panned out for you, Scotty.
Paul Casey actually worked out for me pretty good, just for the record.
Paul Casey, Louis Oosthuizen,
I
Tony
think-
Finau always play really well.
I think
against
Paul
that.
Casey made the cut on the number and then like had a road.
I was referring to Fitzpatrick. I was referring to Fitzpatrick.
I love the guy and I want to pick him, but I just don't think I can. Oh man,
So you got
who I got? I don't know. Hold on. I'm going to go with. I'm blank. I don't like this.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm being that guy right now. You know what?
I'll go to Group 3.
My heart says Paul Casey.
Paul Casey.
Like it.
Paul
All
Casey
right.
in this group. I really wanted to pick Abraham Answer, but I just don't know if he's had enough rounds in at Augusta yet because I love picking veteran guys at the Masters. So my heart really wants to say Abraham Answer, but I'm going to go Paul Casey on record.
Okay.
Rolling into Group 3, I went with Henrik Stenson. Someone, to Scott's point, has a bunch of experience there, and Matt Kuchar as well. Even though he doesn't pay people, he does consistent cuts made at Augusta. So that's what we're going for in Group 3 is someone who's going to make the cut, not mess up my picks.
Wow.
Group
Like that.
3, I got none other than the defending champ, Tiger Woods.
Love it.
Even though we haven't seen a whole bunch from him as of late, I don't think anybody knows Augusta better than Tiger. He knows where to hit it. He knows what shot shapes to hit. He knows where, more importantly, where to miss it if he misses. And then my other pick in that is Jason Day. Guy's kind of hot right now, so I think he's one of those guys that not a lot of people are going to pick. I'm hoping he'll do well for me.
Okay, I'll go next in Group 3. Starting off, I got Scotty Scheffler. I know what I just said about picking veteran guys, and I think this is – but here's the thing. Scotty Scheffler is long enough to where I think he'll be fine, especially if it does get wet out there, as we touched on earlier. So I'm going to go with Scotty Scheffler on this one. I just think the guy's a baller. I think he's eventually going to be a Masters champion at some point. He just has that type of talent, and he is that good. For the other one, I'm going to go with I wanted to pick him, but I don't know about that anymore. Screw it. I'm going to go Bubba Watson.
Ah, there you go.
Bubba, kind of.
Edge.
I like the length again. He seems to only play well at Augusta, so I'm gonna go Bubba Watson.
Cool.
Edge pick.
T-Bone.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to be kind of the middleman for 3 under par pod for Group 3. All these numbers are just making sense. So with that, I'm going to take a little from KJ, wherever he is. Take a little from KJ, go with Jason Day. Take a little from Scotty T, and go with Scotty Scheffler.
So you're not going to let our picks influence you, but you've picked
I had these ready to go.
No, I get it.
Yeah. No, but Scotty T, you've got me on the Scotty Scheffler train. He's a baller. I don't like rookies at Augusta, but I think he's going to play well. He played there in college and in a few tournaments or something like that. He's a player. He played well on Sunday in Houston. Jason Day, Scotty Scheffler.
Nice.
Round us out, KJ. Who do you like in Group 4?
Group 4. Everybody's going to pick Jordan Spieth. Not going to make it happen. As I said, T-Bone, I promised you if you were going to go this weekend in Houston, you were not going to be able to see him there, and I was right. I picked Francesco Molinari.
Okay.
Consistent. I like it.
Had that. He finished. Man, he finished top 5 last year. That seems like forever ago now, but he's
Just saying.
All right, I like it.
T-Bone, are you going to pick that guy too?
No, dickhead.
T-Bone, who you got Group 4?
Zach Johnson.
Good, safe.
Okay.
Solid hedge pick. Proven winner. I like it.
Former champion.
I'm going with the former champion as well and taking Jordan Spieth in the hopes that everyone else takes him, and that when he does go 4 under, and I'll text KJ smug little text.
Don't just text KJ. Text the whole 3 under par pod. We've canceled him for the last
4 over. I'm going to block KJ from the text he's going to send me. I can't pick against him in Augusta, so that's where I'm at.
He is Mr. Masters, baby.
He is Mr. Masters.
Scotty, finish us off.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Jordan Spieth as well. There's just something about it when he gets on those grounds, kind of like Bubba Watson. They just seem to only play well at Augusta. So, just for the record, subject to change of Group 2 for me, because I'm not sold on Paul Casey right there.
Wow.
You got to let me know. I'm keeping a hard copy, Bubba, so I can talk shit
I'm
to
gonna go Matthew Wolf.
whoever's getting waxed.
Matthew Wolf. I'm changing. Matthew Wolf, official.
Glad
Oh, my gosh, Scotty.
All right, we're running low on time here, so we appreciate everybody tuning in, sticking with us. Daniel Garza, thank you for joining us this week.
Thanks for having me, fellas.
This has been a lot of fun. We hope you enjoy this edition of the Masters. Truly is a tradition unlike any other, an historic fall. First Masters. Anything else y'all would like to add? We might get cut up at any point.
No, just pumped. Pumped.
can't come soon enough. Let's go, baby.
I'm probably going to put the music behind this right now to exit us out. So follow us on social media at 3NFRPod, the number 3, 3NFRPod. If you want into the pool, let us know. We appreciate the listenership. Enjoy this week of the Masters. And remember that little white ball is life. And remember,
little white ball is life.
all right,
Edit your shit out. That is my line.